You're weak, unnoticed, and ordinary. True power belongs to those who terrify without words. Stop begging for respect, become unstoppable, radiate dominance, and force the world to acknowledge your presence. Confidence is rarely natural. Most people believe it is something you are born with, an inherent trait that some possess and others don't. This is a lie that keeps the weak obedient, unnoticed, and easily manipulated. The world rewards presence, dominance, and certainty, not wishful thinking. To become truly unstoppable, you must first dismantle the idea that confidence is a gift. It is a skill, a performance, and a weapon, cultivated meticulously to intimidate, command, and control. The first step is understanding that perception is everything. People rarely respond to reality, they respond to what you project. Your posture, tone, gaze, and movements communicate more about your status than words ever will. Those who seem naturally confident are often simply masters of projecting inevitability, making others feel small, uncertain, or even fearful. True confidence is not about being liked or admired, it is about being acknowledged, obeyed, and respected without question. Next, you must recognize the subtle signals of weakness that destroy presence before it begins. Slouched posture, avoiding eye contact, fidgeting, apologizing unnecessarily, all broadcast a lack of control and invite others to dominate or disregard you. Each of these seemingly minor habits accumulates, crafting an invisible narrative that you are powerless. The weak assume confidence is about charm, humor, or likability, but those are tools, not foundations. The foundation is command over your own presence. To shatter the myth of natural confidence, consider the behavior of unstoppable people. Notice how they never hesitate. Their movements are deliberate, their gaze is unwavering, their voice carries authority without pleading. Every action signals certainty, even if internally they wrestle with doubt. This is not arrogance, it is a disciplined cultivation of perception. The most terrifying confidence is silent. It does not announce itself, it simply exists, and the world adjusts. Psychologically, the weak fail because they confuse confidence with permission-seeking behavior. They ask others to validate their worth. The unstoppable do the opposite. They command validation through presence. By controlling the environment, they dictate how others behave, speak, and even think around them. This is the first principle of Machiavellian confidence. Control perception, and you control the world. Finally, the myth of natural confidence masks the reality that fear is a necessary companion. Those who terrify through confidence are not cruel for cruelty's sake. They understand that fear ensures respect, compliance, and influence. Without it, presence is hollow, power is fragile, and influence fleeting. Building this terrifying confidence requires intentional practice, repetition, and a willingness to adopt behaviors that feel uncomfortable at first, but shape your projected identity into something unstoppable. In essence, Chapter 1 reframes confidence from an innate trait into a strategic weapon. It sets the psychological groundwork for understanding that the world does not reward hesitation, charm, or approval-seeking. It rewards those who radiate dominance and control. Your task is clear. Shed the belief in natural confidence, recognize the mechanics of perception, and begin molding a presence that terrifies and commands simultaneously. Fear is not weakness. It is power waiting to be harnessed. To command respect and become terrifyingly confident, you must understand how humans instinctively respond to dominance and threat. Most people confuse respect with admiration, but admiration is optional. It is the fear-driven compliance that ensures authority is obeyed without question. This is the cornerstone of Machiavellian influence. People respect what they subconsciously fear, and fear is the fastest way to control perception. Humans are wired to detect dominance cues. Subtle signals like posture, eye contact, movement speed, and even silence communicate power or vulnerability before a single word is spoken. When someone radiates fearlessness, others instinctively recalibrate their behavior. Hesitation, deference, and avoidance are automatic. Conversely, if a person projects uncertainty, the world interprets it as weakness. People do not wait for permission. They exploit hesitation, push boundaries, and diminish those who cannot assert themselves. To become unstoppable, you must deliberately learn the language of fear and project it consistently. Consider the paradox. The strongest presence is often the quietest. Silence is a psychological tool that amplifies intimidation. When you do not react to provocation, others begin to overcompensate for your restraint, revealing their insecurities and losing control over the interaction. This is why the unnerving calm of an unstoppable figure terrifies more than aggression or bluster. Fear, when controlled, is a silent enforcer of respect. It forces others to treat you differently, without confrontation, without explanation, and without needing permission from them. Respect is rarely given voluntarily. It is earned through perceived consequences. Those who fail to assert dominance are slowly ignored, ridiculed, or overshadowed. Those who radiate controlled, fear-inspiring confidence are granted influence, attention, and obedience automatically. This is not negotiation, it is instinctual human behavior. Recognizing this allows you to shift the balance of social power, commanding presence in any room, situation, or conversation. Another key factor is identity projection. Fear triggers compliance not because people dislike you, but because they fear the consequences of ignoring or challenging your authority. Every movement, every word, or lack thereof, communicates an unspoken rule. I am untouchable. I am decisive. I am in control. When applied strategically, this causes others to defer, hesitate, and ultimately grant you the respect you demand silently. Finally, mastery over fear and respect is not about cruelty. It is about self-preservation and sovereignty. The world rewards those who can manipulate perception to ensure safety, dominance, and opportunity. By controlling how others perceive your confidence, you secure your position, eliminate unnecessary conflict, and create a psychological moat that protects your identity from erosion. Fear becomes not just a tool, but a shield, a key to influence, and a marker of unstoppable presence. Chapter 2 establishes the psychological principle that confidence alone is not enough. You must weaponize the natural human response to fear to ensure respect. Understanding this is essential before you learn the behavioral archetypes that determine who rises and who is erased.
Every social interaction, every room you enter is a stage where archetypes silently compete for dominance. In this arena, there are two fundamental categories: the timid, easily overlooked, and the unstoppable, whose presence commands immediate attention. Recognizing these archetypes is crucial because your survival and influence depend on which you project. The timid are erased, forgotten, or manipulated. The unstoppable are feared, respected, and obeyed. Understanding the behavioral patterns of each archetype allows you to intentionally cultivate the traits that terrify and dominate. The timid archetype is defined by submission, hesitancy, and approval-seeking. They apologize for existing, avoid confrontation, and constantly measure themselves against others. Their energy is diffuse, their body language closed, and their voice hesitant. Even when capable, they fail because they lack presence. They cannot command attention or signal consequence. Their interactions are filled with nervous laughter, qualifying statements, and over-explaining. They believe confidence is about charm, not command, and this fundamental misunderstanding ensures they remain disposable in the eyes of the world. Contrast this with the unstoppable archetype. This figure embodies deliberate control, silent authority, and unshakable composure. They move with purpose, speak with precision, and project a presence that immediately recalibrates those around them. Every action is intentional, a steady gaze, measured gestures, controlled tone, and strategic silence. The unstoppable understand that intimidation is not loudness, it is inevitability. People sense that challenging them has consequences, even if no words are exchanged. This archetype does not rely on charm or approval. Influence is automatic because fear and respect are embedded in every subtle cue they radiate. The distinction between these archetypes also manifests in social strategy. The timid react, they negotiate, plead, and over-explain. The unstoppable initiate, they set rules, shift dynamics, and force others to respond to them. One archetype is reactive and easily manipulated. The other is proactive, shaping perception before resistance emerges. This pattern explains why some individuals effortlessly command rooms while others are ignored, regardless of talent or intelligence. Influence is not distributed fairly. It is earned by projecting the archetype others instinctively respond to. Understanding these archetypes also requires studying human behavior at scale. History and social observation reveal that the unstoppable archetype thrives not because of innate superiority, but because of discipline and mastery over perception. They are relentless in refining posture, tone, timing, and presence. The timid fail to notice these nuances. They mistake social rewards for personal approval. By adopting the unstoppable archetype, you align your identity with dominance, creating a self-reinforcing cycle where fear begets respect, and respect begets more power. Finally, mastering the archetype means dismantling internal weakness. You must eliminate approval-seeking tendencies, indecision, and emotional overreaction. Replace them with measured authority, unwavering presence, and silent threat. Only then do you fully transition from timid to unstoppable. This is not mere confidence, it is a Machiavellian re-engineering of your social identity, ensuring that every interaction works in your favor, whether others consciously recognize it or not. Chapter 3 sets the stage for the next phase, understanding real-world examples of dominance, where theoretical archetypes meet human nature, history, and the consequences of extreme confidence in action. Theory alone does not instill power. To fully understand how unstoppable confidence functions, you must study the real-world consequences of projecting dominance and fear. History, business, and social dynamics are filled with individuals whose mere presence reshaped outcomes. These examples reveal a simple truth. Those who terrify without aggression manipulate the world more effectively than those who fight for approval. Understanding their behavior provides a blueprint for your own transformation. Consider the political arena, where presence often outweighs policy. Leaders who command attention, project unshakable composure, and cultivate subtle intimidation inspire obedience and fear, even without overt coercion. Julius Caesar did not win by brute force alone. He radiated confidence that unsettled allies and enemies alike. His calm decisiveness and relentless presence created an aura of inevitability. Those who opposed him often surrendered before battle began. This is the principle of unstoppable confidence. Fear precedes action, and respect is secured before confrontation. In modern contexts, business and social hierarchies reflect the same pattern. Executives and influencers who dominate rooms are rarely loud. They are deliberate, poised, and intimidatingly calm. Their decisions are decisive, their gestures measured, and their gaze unwavering. Competitors sense the weight of their presence and hesitate, often making concessions without explicit demand. By projecting controlled dominance, these individuals achieve outcomes far beyond what talent or skill alone would allow. Observation proves that social influence is inseparable from psychological intimidation. Even in everyday life, subtle confidence creates measurable effects. People instinctively defer to those who seem unshakable. A quiet, controlled tone, firm posture, and deliberate choice of words can silence arguments, redirect attention, and shift dynamics in your favor. The timid are constantly undermined by the slightest challenges because they fail to project consequence. The unstoppable, however, weaponize fear and anticipation, ensuring that interactions proceed according to their unspoken rules. This creates a social environment where compliance is automatic and resistance is rare. History also demonstrates the cost of failing to command presence. Timid figures, regardless of intellect or skill, are erased, ignored, manipulated, or replaced. In contrast, those who exude confidence are elevated, feared, and remembered. Their actions ripple beyond the immediate moment, creating long-term dominance that perpetuates itself. Whether in courts, boardrooms, or social networks, the principle remains consistent. Presence that terrifies breeds influence that lasts. Finally, the key lesson is replication. Observing and internalizing the habits of dominant figures allows you to strategically adopt behaviors that cultivate fear and respect simultaneously. Posture, tone, timing, and subtle behavioral cues are all tools to command authority without overt confrontation. Real-world examples demonstrate that this is not theoretical, it is practical, measurable, and repeatable. Your goal is to integrate these lessons into your own interactions until your presence itself becomes a psychological force, reshaping the behavior of everyone around you.
To become truly unstoppable, theory and observation are not enough. You must act deliberately to cultivate behaviors that radiate fear and dominance. Confidence is a skill, not a gift, and it can be built strategically. This chapter provides actionable steps to transform posture, voice, presence, and subtle cues into a psychological weapon that commands respect and obedience without aggression. The first principle is physical presence. Your body is the first communicator of confidence. Stand tall, shoulders back, head held high. Avoid fidgeting or making abrupt, nervous gestures. Deliberate movements convey control, whereas rushed or sloppy motions signal insecurity. Every step, every gesture must appear intentional. Even small details, how you hold a cup, adjust your tie, or place your hand on a table, communicate dominance when executed with precision. The world reacts to physical certainty before mental confidence is even registered. Next is vocal command. Speak slowly, deliberately, and with measured volume. The unstoppable archetype does not shout or over-explain. They speak in a tone that carries authority. Silence is just as important as words. Strategic pauses force listeners to focus, anticipate, and recalibrate their own behavior. By mastering vocal control, you create the perception of inevitability. Your words carry weight because they are rare, precise, and purposeful. Another key tool is controlled eye contact. The gaze is a silent weapon. Unwavering eyes convey unshakable confidence, making others subconsciously assess their position in your hierarchy. Avoid darting eyes, over-smiling, or excessive blinking. Instead, maintain a calm, deliberate stare that signals you notice everything but reveal nothing. This subtle cue generates respect, unease, and attention, all without a single word. Psychological manipulation also plays a role. The unstoppable project certainty in uncertainty. Even in unfamiliar or challenging situations, they act decisively. Hesitation is weakness. Decisive action signals competence and dominance. Others instinctively defer to those who appear certain, regardless of actual skill. This is the Machiavellian edge. Perception overrides reality. Finally, cultivate emotional control. Do not react to provocation, mockery, or challenge with visible anger or anxiety. Calmness under pressure terrifies more than aggression. When others expect a reaction and receive none, they feel unbalanced, giving you indirect control of the situation. Emotional restraint transforms confidence into a psychological weapon, allowing you to manipulate interactions subtly yet effectively. In practice, building terrifying confidence is a daily exercise. Posture, tone, gaze, and emotional control must be reinforced through repetition and self-awareness. Observe your interactions, refine your behaviors, and measure the subtle responses of those around you. Every adjustment strengthens your presence, enhances fear, and consolidates respect. Over time, these tactical steps converge, creating the archetype of the unstoppable individual, a figure whose confidence is not just seen, but felt, leaving others instinctively obedient, cautious, or awed. Chapter 5 transforms theoretical principles into practical, repeatable strategies, giving the viewer tools to move from passive self-perception to a terrifying, commanding presence that dominates any interaction. True confidence is not built on incremental improvements. It requires a radical transformation of identity. The timid, approval-seeking self must die completely. Every habitual thought, reaction, and behavior that reinforces weakness, hesitation, or fear of judgment must be dismantled. Only then can the unstoppable archetype emerge. This is the essence of Machiavellian self-reconstruction. Destroy the old you, replace it with a version that radiates unshakable power and commands immediate respect. The first step is self-audit. Identify every way you compromise your authority: unnecessary apologies, hesitations, over-explaining, seeking validation, or deferring decisions. These are the behavioral remnants of the old, powerless identity. Acknowledge them, understand their social cost, and commit to erasing them. Each instance is a seed of weakness that must be uprooted, or it will silently sabotage your ascent to unstoppable presence. Next is behavioral replacement. Every weak habit must be substituted with deliberate actions that communicate dominance. Hesitation becomes decisiveness, apology becomes measured acknowledgement, nervous energy becomes controlled intensity. Each replacement must be practiced relentlessly until it is automatic. The new identity must not just look confident, it must function as a living, strategic presence in every interaction. Confidence is not performance, it becomes your operating system. Psychologically, this transformation requires embracing fear as a tool rather than a limitation. The old self fears judgment, rejection, and failure. The new self uses these forces strategically. Fear becomes leverage, anticipation becomes control, and respect becomes inevitable. By internalizing this mindset, the unstoppable identity becomes resistant to external manipulation, impervious to intimidation, and capable of exerting influence effortlessly. Another critical element is consistency under scrutiny. True identity replacement is tested daily. The world will attempt to draw out the old self through provocation, mockery, or subtle social pressures. The unstoppable do not falter. They maintain posture, tone, gaze, and emotional control. This consistency signals irrevocable authority and ensures the new identity is accepted both internally and externally. The timid would crumble under these pressures. The unstoppable thrive because every challenge reinforces their dominance. Finally, the transformation culminates in social inevitability. When the old self is destroyed and the new self fully integrated, your presence becomes self-sustaining. People respond instinctively. Respect, fear, and obedience are granted automatically. You no longer chase validation or approval. The world adjusts to you, not the other way around. The archetype of the unstoppable individual is complete, a figure who commands attention, influences outcomes, and silently terrifies those who underestimate them.
This is the moment of truth.
You have learned the mechanics of terrifying confidence, the psychology of fear, the archetypes of dominance, and the strategies to enforce presence. Now the choice is stark. Embrace the unstoppable self or remain disposable, ignored, and irrelevant. There is no middle ground. The world does not reward hesitation or timid behavior. Respect is not given, it is seized, projected, and maintained. Those who fail to act decisively are erased from influence and memory. This is the elite law, self-respect or social extinction. The first reality is brutal. Most people will never understand this framework. They cling to politeness, charm, and approval-seeking, believing these traits will shield them. They are wrong. Social structures are designed to elevate dominance and obedience to authority. Those who refuse to project power are systematically sidelined. Every weak gesture, uncertain word, or apologetic glance chips away at your relevance. Recognition, influence, and fear are reserved for those who command without pleading. Your transformation is not optional, it is necessary. The identity you inhabit must be intentionally constructed to project certainty, strength, and inevitable authority. Every interaction, every glance, every movement is a test. Those who hesitate or second-guess themselves reveal their disposability. The unstoppable thrive because they have internalized these truths. They are not vulnerable to societal manipulation. They do not seek approval. They demand acknowledgement through presence. Fear is their tool, respect their currency, and dominance their shield. Understand the stakes. Hesitation has consequences. Remaining in the timid archetype will lead to erasure, social irrelevance, and diminished opportunity. People will forget your contributions, overlook your value, and eventually replace you. The unstoppable, in contrast, create a gravitational force that reshapes social environments. Others adjust automatically. They defer, they respect, they fear. This is not luck, it is deliberate, practiced, and intentional application of Machiavellian principles. The elite CTA is simple yet ruthless. Commit to transformation now or accept your obsolescence. Begin the daily practice of posture, tone, gaze, emotional control, and strategic silence. Audit every interaction and behavior to ensure it reinforces dominance rather than weakness. Destroy approval-seeking tendencies, replace hesitation with decisiveness, and cultivate an identity that radiates unstoppable presence. This is your roadmap from invisibility to power, the only path to being remembered, feared, and respected simultaneously. Finally, recognize the psychological dividend. Adopting this identity elevates your influence, shields you from manipulation, and grants access to opportunities unavailable to the timid. You do not need permission. You do not need approval. You exist as an unstoppable force, reshaping social dynamics through presence alone. The choice is yours. Maintain the illusion of politeness and fade away, or embrace terrifying confidence and claim your rightful place among the few who dominate, command, and terrify simultaneously. Chapter 7 completes the arc, the final ultimatum, the elite call to action, and the psychological closure that ensures the viewer either fully adopts the unstoppable identity or faces the consequences of remaining powerless. The journey from timid to unstoppable is now fully mapped.